All right, good morning everyone, and welcome to this keynote. I'm Jan Linden. I'm a product manager on the Chrome team, focused on Chrome Media.
Thank you. Number 9. Okay, are we ready to go? Great. And I'm Sam Dutton. I'm a developer advocate for Google Chrome. And if we can go over to the slides here.
Yeah, while that's happening, well, I can talk a little bit.
If you want to follow along with these slides or have a look at them later, there's a URL for a PDF of these slides up on the screen, so you can follow along with that.
Perfect. So let me just start with a wow. Pretty amazing. First of all, it's early in the morning, and still so many people here, all interested in WebRTC. And it's not very long ago, everyone that was interested in WebRTC fit in one small room. And that's where it all started, where we hashed it all out, and then it's grown to this. Just amazing, and it's so fun to see as one of the instigators of this. So it's really exciting and really humbling as well. It's all right. So I'm not going to talk too much about WebRTC, actually, today. That's the whole conference about. So I'm going to try to do some other things instead. The key message I want you to take away from this is how WebRTC fits to the rest of the technologies on the web. That we are bringing something truly important into the web so you can do all these amazing things. And actually, I have a little story to tell to illustrate this, what I think is the great advantage of bringing many technologies together. So last night, we were in a bar, and that's not that kind of story I'm going to talk about, but it's we were going home after dinner and having a keynote early in the morning. You have to be here at 7 o'clock to set up, so you want to get home fairly quickly. And a friend of mine, to remain anonymous, he had it all nailed down. He was going to use the old technology. He had already, when we came there, got the phone number for the driver, called him so he can be there. Okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes, he said. That's a little bit long when you want to get home, but okay, that's okay. 30 minutes later, we give him a call. Where are you? Oh, I just took a wrong turn. I'll be there in 6 minutes. 10 minutes later, where are you now? I'm just 1 minute away. 5 minutes later, that's when I gave up. Took out my phone, got this application, Uber Cab, where I see immediately on the screen where there are available drivers, click book. 15 seconds later, I have a confirmation that a guy is coming. Another few seconds later, he calls me, says, where are you? So I know exactly where to pick you up. And sure enough, he's there within a minute and a half from when I booked that, and arrives exactly at the same time as the guy that we called more than an hour earlier. This shows how you can take simple technologies, put them together. So here is location, web services, and your phone, and you put it all together, and suddenly you have a so much better user experience. Just one example that struck me this morning after not getting that many hours sleep because of this. So let's see what we're going to talk about here. So again, not too much about WebRTC, so we'll start to talk a little bit about what's really happening on the web. And that's near and dear to us at the Chrome team. I'll also talk about a little bit about WebRTC, but mostly why we think it's so important and why we are investing so heavily in this. And Sam will show you a few examples of what we can do on the web today. So let's dive into it. Oops. So this is an illustration trying to show a little bit of what's happening on the web in terms of development. It started out very simple. You see these things are new features, how they come along, new browsers, etc. And oops, we'll take care of that. So it's just amazing the acceleration in the development. If you look at this picture here, you see it was a slow evolution, and now just everything is happening and all these things are coming together. And we're really now at that point where you can really start doing truly amazing things because the things are coming together. Get this slide back.
Back to presentation, mate.
Okay, but it's not only about the speed of the innovation of the web. It's also really how it gets into the hands of the end users. Today, more than 1 billion users are on browsers that auto-updates very quickly. So this means that whatever is happening, it gets in the hands of the users within weeks of every new development. That's another extremely important part and an extremely powerful tool to make tremendous applications and services. And that's only, there we talk about desktop, and then mobile. Obviously, mobile is growing like crazy, and different predictions say this year, some next year, but basically the amount of data that's going on the mobile internet is going to surpass the desktop very, very quickly.
It's interesting, actually. Someone was also mentioning yesterday the fact that there's increasing levels of mobile usage, over Wi-Fi. So at home and at work, people are using mobiles, not just on 3G, 4G. Another thing, I think, from this same report, I noticed the Mary Meeker stuff was that there are, I think now, something like 5 billion phones in the world, but only 1.5 billion of these phones are feature phones. So
there's a tremendous opportunity there.
Smartphones, so there's a huge opportunity there.
Yeah, and for example, if you look at the BRIC countries, the growth there is obviously much faster, and especially on the mobile side. And a lot of the mobile revenue is happening in those countries. And according to McKinsey here, in 2 years from now, almost 500 million users in India will be on the web, and 75% will be on a mobile internet. So, key point here, mobile is super important and something we have to really take into account. So, but just in general, why is the web, why am I touting that so much? Because it's really a better place to be. I just mentioned how the browsers updates very quickly. That means that you have not only the latest features, but also the most secure thing, because we can push a security fix within a day. But also, the web model is, of course, that your apps and your web pages, they update on a second when you want to do it. So when a user gets there, it will always be the up-to-date thing. And everybody that's deployed some kind of service know that getting your users to be updated is pretty much the hardest thing and the most important thing to have a good experience. Of course, there are things like when you're on the web, it's easy to discover things. It's much easier than finding an app and download, etc. It's all there. And in your regular search, using your search engine of preference, you have cloud services that integrate easily. And of course, for developers, it's not entirely true, but it's getting there that you develop for one platform and then you're covering everything. That's extremely powerful, saves you a lot of time and money. And again, security, so important. And that's at the core of how we build. Many people are scared of the internet, kind of that's not secure. But the way we build the browsers now is actually more secure than desktop applications, because you don't know what's in there. And in Chrome, for example, you don't get access to the operating system from the web. And of course, it's free. Did I mention that? So what is it that's powering the modern web? It's HTML5. And what is that? I think there's a lot of people here that are more from the telecom industry, a little bit unfamiliar with that. So I will explain that in one simple equation here. HTML5 approximately equal to HTML5 plus CSS and JavaScript. It's a very simplified model, but basically you take the old HTML, you use CSS and other similar technologies to beautify it in a very simple way, and then with JavaScript you can pretty much do anything you want on top of that. But JavaScript, you say, that's slow stuff, I can't do anything with that, but you're wrong. We are continuously improving that, and this just shows the growth of the performance of Chrome and JavaScript. And what's really nice here is we continuously work. It's not something we feel we're done with. It's a continuous improvement there, both on the desktop, as you see on the left, and on the mobile on the right, but also the other browsers. So it's not only about one browser, it's all about all browsers are trying to keep up with each other. So therefore, it continues to evolve and everybody gets better all the time. And we can do more and more stuff. So back to mobile. It's definitely an area that has been not focused on that much. The browsers on the mobile devices were, until recently, pretty much second-class citizens. But that has started to change significantly. On iOS, you have Safari, which is obviously a great browser for that platform. Chrome has come to Safari as well and offer the same user experience as on other platforms. On Android, we have Chrome, Firefox, Opera. The Android browser is not a true HTML5 browser as much as the others, but it still supports a number of the important HTML5 features. When it comes to mobile devices, it's also important to note that for WebRTC, it's really a very natural place to do these things. After all, these devices were traditionally communications devices, and that's what WebRTC is about. And we are getting there now. So we have full support for WebRTC APIs in Android, and actually it's behind a flag now. The flag is pretty much on its way out. I can't say exactly when, but it's very soon in Chrome. And we're also adding Web Audio API, which is another important API to have in this context. And we've heard from Opera that they are planning to support WebRTC very soon on both mobile and desktop. So let's switch over a little bit to WebRTC, and pretty much why did we go out and spend money acquiring a company to get the best technology, and then all these efforts in doing this? What's the background behind that? And I've told this story many times before, but it's basically just the Chrome team sat down and said, let's analyze what we can do on the web and where are the big gaps so we can find where the big gaps are. And the number one, absolute biggest gap was you can't do real-time communication on the WebEx without plugins. And even with plugins, it's a bad experience. So we need to fix that. And that started the whole thing. And the idea was we need to make the browser into basically a communications hub. That's a place where all your data from both long delay data and real-time data, everything comes into the same place and you can put it all together. So it's really a key piece that was missing to the web puzzle. And really important to point out, and I think many people have done that through these days, is we're not just trying to take your old web app or a native app and put it on the web or your plugin and just put it in there. This is about when you do it the right way, when you bake it into the browser, it integrates with everything else. And we'll show a few examples of this throughout the talk. So it should be super easy, and it has to be easy enough for any web developer to do this. This is not something where the old same people that did the telecom applications just come in and are the only ones that can build this. It should be for all the web developers, so it has to be super easy. And there's no question. The demand is there. We see it from everyone here in the room and everything we read. Every day there is something about WebRTC in the press. So the key parts of WebRTC, as mentioned, that interoperability I didn't write down here, but it's super important. So that's why we started with standards and making sure that it's everywhere and available on all browsers, and hopefully that will happen very soon. But again, has to be really easy to use and develop for, has to be fast and really good quality, and security. Again, everything is really, that's a really key part of what we're doing. So every part of WebRTC has been thought out using or considering security concerns, including privacy for your devices, the webcam and your microphone, etc. And we think it's really important that this is freely available, so you put this in the hands of all endpoints, and then you can innovate on top of that on the server side or on the application side. So let's start talking about how this really integrates with other technologies. And one really simple example, Because it's easy to talk about, yeah, this integrates with all the other technologies that's out there on the web, but how do you do it? Super easy. If you take a media stream that you either get from Get User Media from your camera or microphone or from the output of a peer connection on the receiving side, the only thing you have to do is to plug it into a video tag, and then you have access to all the things that are in the video tag. So you can do apply to a canvas, you can do WebGL, you can do anything you want because it's right there now in the same way as any other video would have been in that you got in another way from a file or something. So that makes it so easy and doesn't change the model at all. Something that's really near and dear to me is the Chromebooks. That's basically, if you don't know, it's basically devices that only has an operating system that is a browser. And that makes it extremely secure and very easy to maintain. And WebRTC fits really well here because it's you can't install any other applications, so you're pretty much stuck if you don't have it on the web. So in order to get the best experience, you need to have it baked into the browser. And so now when we have that, that makes the Chromebooks really powerful.
Yeah. I think a particular opportunity, for WebRTC and Chromebooks is in education. I've seen some really interesting stuff happening in schools. So we've got this ability for, sharing of video and other files. I guess the new excuse for not doing your homework would be, like the dog ate my Chromebook. But we've got secure file sharing, the ability to share video, and the whole business of not having to install and maintain these machines. So we're going to be seeing some really interesting things coming through there, I think. I just wanted to run through a couple of, let's go full screen here, a couple of the APIs that are available to media on Chrome and other browsers now, because I think this is what is giving real power to APIs like the WebRTC stuff. So the example here we have is the Media Source API, and this gives us the ability to combine chunks of video and enables us to do things like adaptive streaming, time shifting, and gives us the possibility of lots of other stuff as well. So, very useful kind of, powering the things we can do with video and other media on the web. The full screen API, I better go out of full screen to show this. It enables us to full screen elements or a page. And we have CSS and JavaScript to handle the events and to style that. And again, very useful for working with media elements. CSS filters, as Jan mentioned before. I'll just bump up the size here. I've got an original image up at the top left. And if we look at the code for this, we can see that let's actually see the code. The actual code to do the CSS, let's have a look at the CSS. Hang on, I'll just go to the page there. I'll bump that up. And you can see it's very straightforward to add styling to an element. So a video element, a media, any kind of image, whatever. And we can see that stuff. And in fact, I'll just show you that what works. If I inspect the title there and add the style, you can see that that's now actually set the style of that title element there. So really handy working with video and other elements. You might have seen device orientation. This is now available on mobile and on desktop devices. And again, it's handy if you're working with orientation for media elements and wanting to do different stuff with that. The track element is now on mobile as well as on desktop. This is a really simple way to, in the simple case is to add captions to a video using VTT or SRT files. Now, because of the way it's implemented, it's really easy to do kind of more interesting things with this.
We want to hear what inspires you.
You can hear the audio coming through there. Now, I've written a little extension here which in real time translates the captions into another language and is using text-to-speech to translate and speak those as well. So, yeah, let's go, let's try another language.
Nous avons également commencé à déployer
un nouveau
site pour Google Développeurs.
Не только код, но сообществом новости.
Okay, you get the general idea. But you know, very powerful. This is what I love about these is these APIs are being used for things that kind of no one really invented them for, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen to WebRTC. Another example here, working with the track element. You know, because of the way the track element works, you can use it to, for timed metadata. An example here, rather than having captions in a track file, we've got cues that relate to GPS points. A guy cycled around the campus, Google Mountain View, and he took video and he got GPS. And we put it together and you can see the video down the bottom left, and as you move around, you can navigate by moving on the map, which then integrates with the video and sets street view. So again, you know, these powerful APIs being used in a sense for well beyond what they were intended for. Another thing that may come in handy for you, I'll just turn off the sound here, is the page visibility API. And you can see here when I go to another tab, it's using the page visibility API to, it's actually changing, you can just about see the tab icon and to stop video. And again, really handy when you're working with media apps where you don't want that app to be running when someone's not in the
And what's really so powerful with this is that all of it is integrated. So there's just a simple JavaScript API. You just make a call and it's all accelerated and in the browser. So you don't have to figure out anything. It's super easy.
There's no hacks there, and it's a very straightforward API. Last one I'd like to show here is a new technology called Web Components. Now, this gives us the ability to encapsulate components for a web page, and in this example, we've got a photo booth app. I showed this off a couple of days ago. If we look at the code for that, look at the elements. Sorry, it's a little hard to see here. But we've got, hang on. Essentially, we've got a custom element there. And this is kind of, I'll show you in Canary, because that's going to work better. What this gives us is the ability to create stuff, components for our own apps, or that we can share with our clients. And when we've done that, we can easily edit the content in a way that's much simpler than having large amounts of random code in the page. I'm just seeing if I can see the custom element there. Okay, it's not showing up. Anyway, that is really, I don't know, one of the many new APIs that are making life much simpler for web developers, simply because we don't have to be, I don't know, doing these hacks and having these kind of monolithic chunks of code. So what we've got here is a set of technologies that reduce the need for JavaScript hacks, give us much improved performance. The CSS stuff is working, like Jan was saying, this is working on the GPU. It's using native code to do stuff like animations and transformations and transitions. Also, a lot of other APIs like web fonts doing the same kind of stuff, reducing the need for hacks. And we're getting frameworks like Yeoman. I recommend having a look at that. Again, you know, easier ways to build web apps and giving more structure to your web applications. If you want to look at web components, there's a URL there. Have a look at Eric Beidelman's talk from Google I/O. Lots more information there. We've also now got the ability to access devices, which again is very powerful. Access to USB devices through simple USB API, Bluetooth as well. Not shown here, but there's a gamepad API. So, you know, ways to integrate game device access with your WebRTC apps. And also we've like networking APIs we're seeing too on Chrome extensions and Firefox extensions. So for UDP and TCP.
Yeah, and obviously what's very close to WebRTC is all the media stuff. And very recently, we really got these things together. So here you see a list of a few of the APIs, and we've added all this. So now you really have a complete media solution. You can stream media, you can do it securely, you can do it encrypted, and you can do real-time communication, you can manipulate audio, you can even, we're now getting the Web MIDI API that makes it possible to connect a MIDI controller and really play with the right keys instead of the keyboard, and Web Speech API, etc. So I'll give a couple of examples here. So Web Speech API, for example, we launched very recently. This is a standard and makes it possible to just add speech recognition wherever you want. Very simple, and it supports many languages. It has continuous recognition, so you can do dictation and things like that in documents, etc. Very, very powerful and very easy to use, and it goes up to, in the case of Chrome, to our regular speech recognition servers that are super good. Text-to-speech is coming very soon as well. Not implemented yet, but it's on its way. One thing that's really, really near to me is the Web Audio API, because this brings really high-level, high-quality audio to the web. You can create audio with really good quality. You can play out audio in the spatial. For gaming, you want a spatial, you want moving objects and all these things. Very easy. So it's basically the same functionality that's in a gaming audio engine. And you can do effects like filtering, etc. And again, as we've been trying to talk about here, is how these things integrate nicely together. This is one example of two technologies that really fit well together. So web audio can take a media stream from Get User Media as input. So then you feed the input into web audio. Or you can create audio in web audio from a file or from create whatever you want to do, or you can analyze. And then you add effects or whatever you want to do, and you just plug it in. There's a destination node in web audio that hits right into the peer connection of WebRTC. And very soon we'll do the same on the output side as well. So you can add, for example, spatial effects. Really, many people very interested in doing this for conferencing. On the video side, there's been a few things missing. They're all there now. For example, full screen, as Sam showed before, you need that because you don't want to watch a video if you can't do it in full screen. Adaptive streaming, so you can adapt to the available bandwidth, super important. And to some people's dismay, but having content protection makes it possible to securely deliver. Sometimes it's just secure videos you want or audio you want to deliver, and sometimes it's premium content. So, but implementing these things has made it possible. So now YouTube and Netflix serve HTML5 premium content because they can use these HTML5 APIs. So that's a big, big shift in moving from plugins to HTML5. Quick update on WebM. So WebM is the video format that we stand behind and work on, and the two video codecs in there is VP8 that we've been supporting for quite a while. And we did a licensing agreement with MPEG-LA to take out that issue in terms of IPR forming a pool at MPEG-LA, so that's been taken care of. On the other thing that is brought up often about VP8 is what about the hardware support? And it's now a requirement in Android, and it's in all the major chips are basically putting in VP8 support. So we have from Samsung, NVIDIA, Broadcom, etc. They have full VP8 support in the chips. On VP9, so that's the next generation codec. We just froze the bitstream last week, and we have it in Chrome in M29, which is still in developer mode. It's basically the same type of quality as HEVC, but lower complexity and open and free, of course. And YouTube already supports it, so you can actually go, there's a channel, the WebM VP9 channel, where you can watch VP9 videos. And actually like to do a demo. So if we could switch over to
number 11.
Brilliant. Yeah, here we go. So this is 2 videos. So to your left, you have H.264, and to the right is VP9. If you look at it, it's really hard to see any difference. Oops. It would be nice if it didn't stop. The quality actually is slightly better, but basically the same. So VP9 is slightly better. But if you look at the file, it's less than half the size than a regular H.264 file. And you can also see how it's changing throughout you can see the bitrate there in the middle. So really, this is the next generation coming out in YouTube and supported in Chrome. Obviously, it's a long time before it will be the best codec for WebRTC, in the same way as HEVC or H.265 is not ready for real-time communication yet. So we'll continue on this one then. Oops.
We'll keep going with yours.
Yeah, anyway, the picture is gone. But anyway, so we want to end with a quick demo of another thing that really takes all these APIs together and builds something very, very fun and amazing by using, for example, WebGL, CSS 3D, Web Audio, and WebRTC. So we have CubeSlam.
Okay.
To see if your experiment will work out here.
Okay, let's see if we can start this one up.
We need some
so we need someone to play
here.
with us. If someone would like to go to cubeslam.com
You're in the wrong one.
Oh, sorry. Yes, no, it's okay. Let's try a different address. Let's try WebRTC Expo. I think we ran that one before. If someone can go to cubeslam.com/WebRTC Expo.
Whoever gets there first is the lucky winner.
Okay, let's see who's there.
You need to allow the camera at the top. And
there we have someone, someone somewhere. Are you ready to play? By the way, if you don't want to play someone else, you can also play the bear, which is quite fun. That's a start. Okay.
You need to click the start.
If this all goes horribly wrong, I'll have to play with Jan on the same network. Okay. Waiting to start. Are they there?
Have you clicked the start button? Yeah. Anyway.
Should we try across?
Do the bear.
Okay, I'll play the bear. Let's see how this works.
But you also, when you play someone else, you also have audio, obviously, so you can talk to each other and yell profanities as much as you want and really get into it. You can do that with the bear too.
This is my favorite mode, actually. This is, playing the bear. Who's quite good at this. Sorry.
So using Web Audio for the audio, WebRTC for the communication with the other side there. And
yeah. Right.
Okay, so you can play yourself on cubeslam.com. Just a fun example of what you can do with these technologies. And it's super fast. It's using data channel, WebRTC data channel to get the position information very quickly from peer to peer as well.
If you want to see how that was done, by the way, there's an article coming up on HTML5 Rocks that runs through all the things they did with WebRTC and also for the gameplay and how they built the physics engine to go with it. And a special treat for everyone here, there's a cheats page, which has some nice stuff. Anyway, right.
Okay, so thanks for your attention. Again, what we really wanted to get you to take away from this is how quickly the web is innovating. Obviously, we at Chrome, we really try to stay at the forefront there. WebRTC is not something separate. It's a part of a bigger puzzle, and it really you get all the best out of it if you utilize all the other technologies that are available on the web. And we've seen exactly some of those examples of how easy it is to do these things. So thank you very much.